think we're good. It's got to be close to 10. If not, we're close enough. So let's start off with our esteemed administrator.
All righty, folks. Dave wanted to change the date of the October 6th trustees meeting.
To what?
Anytime besides October 6th.
That day or that week?
That week.
That whole week is bad?
Monday's fine, but anything forward.
I'm okay with the 5th. Or the following week, but then we got a meeting on the 20th, so.
You're saying October 6th is bad?
It's like the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th are bad for him, so the 5th will work, or else we have to move it to the following week, but then we got a meeting the week right after that. I'm okay if we move it.
On Monday the 5th?
I'm okay for Monday the 5th, or I'm okay for the following week.
I would say Monday the 5th, because we push it to the following week, then we're 4 weeks to our next meeting from today. Right?
Okay. Okay, are you good with the 5th?
Yep.
All right, October 5th, Mike, we're gonna move it. Oh, I had it right, 6 p.m. Okay, some numbers.
Okay. We discussed the jet agreement, street light at the corner of Bristol and Morgan. I don't know if any of you have been to it. It's a pretty sharp curve. I don't know what the correct angle number is, but, and it's dark. It has no lighting. And we received a request from a resident to put a street light in there. I looked into it, talked to the illuminating company. There is an old telephone pole there, but it's 35 feet off the road, and they won't put a light. It's too far away from the road to put a light on. So to put a new pole and light up on that corner would cost between $2,500 and $3,000. And we're wondering if we can put a street light in there.
Well, the homeowners have to, don't they incur all those costs?
Okay, this is a resident who lives right across the border in the Perry Township and works for Painesville Township, and she asked if we can do that.
I didn't see that email.
Karen sent an email.
I didn't see that.
Right before our meeting.
Okay, I still didn't see the email, thank you.
Did you see the email?
I did not see the email, thank you.
So, yeah. I don't see it working to try and create a street lighting district that includes Perry Township and Painesville Township residents on that road. I don't know. I mean, we could try, but
I guess my take is if any other location, somebody from outside the township says, hey, we put a street light at this location in the township, the answer is no.
that's correct.
I mean, that's,
We've had people in the township who want streetlights, and it's always been, they have to incur the costs.
Yeah.
And then talk to your neighbors and see if you're all willing to split it.
do a petition to, yeah.
And as much as I would like to comply, that's what we've already done. Since I've been on the board, probably not a half dozen times, but I know it's come up for conversation a number of times.
So you need a petition by the majority of the residents on the street, is that the?
If we want to create a street lighting district and pay for lights on the street.
The street has none?
I don't know if there's none on the street. This is the corner where there are none and it is dark. On the rest of the street, I don't know. I don't know.
I think there's one at the intersection of Bristol and Morgan.
So I guess the only other option is just to find out what the district would incur, how many people or entail, how many lights we would want to put up in this district, let's just say, including that one. Let's say if we want 2 on that street, total light of the street, send a letter and say, there's been a request for street lights in this area. Proposal is 5 street lights, cost $15,000 at 30, 30 members, that's $500 be applied to your tax duplicate or however we bill it. To create a light district to install those lights. That's the only other option I would think. And if they say, you know, we need, what's the rule? We need a majority of the people in the district to agree to the
I think
petition?
all of them.
Can't be unanimous.
The answer to that, I don't know.
Jeremy, can you look into that?
Well, I can get that.
Okay, or streetlight district, how many?
Don't know off the top of my head.
So find out, what do you need from the residents? Do we need a 100% agree, and do we need a majority vote of the residents to do so? To assess the streetlights? Once we know that info, then we can revisit it. Go down there at night, and if it could use 3 streetlights, then we're, you know, $9,000, and if there's, you know, whatever, we could.
So we're gonna take the lead on initiating, reaching out. Because normally, don't we tell the residents, like Chuck said, you want streetlights, contact your neighbors.
Yeah, we've always put the onus on the resident. I'll work with Karen on that.
Is Mike Patriarca there?
No.
Oh. Somewhere, I believe we have a petition form, and a neighborhood or a street, somebody can, some resident can take the bull by the horns and circulate a petition amongst the people in the proposed district, and they can present that to the trustees, and that would be for more than one streetlight, or for, let's say, a neighborhood. I'm not sure what the procedure is for a single safety concerned streetlight. I believe in the past, people have prevailed on the trustees to recognize a safety issue, and maybe we have installed some streetlights and agreed to pay for it out of township funds, only to preserve safety.
Has anything changed there in the past 20 years?
At that intersection?
Yeah.
No.
Has anything changed?
Yeah,
Making it a safety issue.
making
now
it a
that
safety
wasn't
issue
before.
now that it wasn't before.
Okay.
That's the intersection. This is when you- If it's a safety concern there, it's a sharp enough curve there to warrant the Chevron warning arrows. They're up.
They are?
They are up.
Okay.
Yes.
My thought is we don't
Say yeah.
stick to what we normally do, which is,
And if we get requests from other neighbors that are in Painesville Township in that area to put one up, then we can address it at that point.
CARES Act purchases. We'll go through this quickly. I know Chuck is very concerned about an audit and that we'll get in trouble. I'm at this point very comfortable with Karen and I on the purchases we've made so far, have done our due diligence. And the purchases we have made up to this point are 100% justifiable within the purposes of the CARES Act. Going forward, we have some adventurous requests here, and that's up to the trustees to decide.
I'm comfortable, if you guys are comfortable, and if our legal advisors looked over the language and he's comfortable, then that's what we pay you guys for, so.
But me. I should switch to the meeting folder so that I can,
So one thing we were thinking about is maybe, station 1 and 2, maybe expanding and building, some new sleeping quarters that allow for more social distancing, as an expansion off of both of those buildings. Because we do have some additional funding coming in, and we're we're required to, use it for applicable expenses by December.
We have to encumber the funds by November 20th. We have to write the checks by December 30th.
So we have 2 months essentially to get it, something
I'm so
that you're
sorry.
quoted out
Are we
and
still in the meeting?
write the agreement, and then we have to issue the
I wanted to
company,
bring up
the
the
building
spreadsheet.
company check by the 30th of
I have
December.
to share it.
Okay.
No, no.
Which is, I said, I've never met a contractor that won't take a, paycheck before the work is done, but,
Right.
we would obviously require them to be bonded for the job, then that way if something didn't happen, that we would be able to,
Hey, Sean,
Yes, sir.
could you remind me how to share a document that I've got on my laptop?
Okay. The laptop that's also doing the meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Where's the document located?
It's an Excel spreadsheet in the meeting folder.
Okay. Do you know how to get there?
It's open.
I've got it open on my laptop.
Perfect. Okay. Then on that note, the easiest thing that I recommend doing is it in its own window at the moment, or is it in the same browser currently hosting the meeting? I recommend it be in its own window.
it is, it's in your own.
It's in its own window.
Okay, good. Now back over to the meeting screen. I move the mouse around, white bar pops up to the right side. You'll see present now.
Yep.
Press that button, choose a window of the 3 options given. Then once you choose a window, yep, there, you just got it. Perfect, sir, there you go.
These are suggestions that we've collected in the last 2 weeks for the trustees to consider.
So I do have issues. I have concerns, and I sent an email off. I think I copied you guys. I sent to Jeremy this morning. And so on the one document that we received from, I believe it was, from the OTA, there's questions. And on page, of course it doesn't say. If you were copying the email, it says this is not a completely specific topic, but what will be in AOS audit approach to compliance, leniency, and documentation, so on and so forth. And in the email I found in the paragraph, it said where disagreement over the application of a rule or statute arises, AOS, actually that's the auditor of the state of Ohio, I assume, will give all due consideration to a well-reasoned legal opinion provided by the local government's legal counsel and documented decisions about spending, compliance, etc., to the greatest extent possible. So they're giving us a lot of leeway. Now, having said that, I'll go along with anything if you tell me it's okay.
Yeah, that's what
we could actually write you a memo.
And
That's
so
what I was
there-
thinking, as each purchase we make, I know it's a little bit of extra work, but each purchase, make a memo, each purchase, so if somebody says, what are you doing? Boom, here's our memo from our legal advisor.
Everything's been
Each
analyzed.
purchase over what? I mean, we're buying wipes.
No, I know, I would say,
Well, I would say that a lot of the things that probably is no disagreement over. Anything that we think is questionable.
correct,
Let me know.
vehicles, addition for.
Well, so I think I saw a new dump and snowplow truck. So
So right now, we have 7 of these large dump trucks, and we have 8 guys. So right now, 2 guys have to share a truck when they're on the split shifts. So if we have to go back to the split shifts, in the case that this virus comes back strong in the winter,
but there's only one guy in a truck, so what's the logic?
We're gonna get into it.
then there would, one guy would have a truck and that would be his truck to use. He wouldn't have to come in and park it and then another guy get in and drive it on his shift.
And I think a concern could be that, let's just say, driver A is in the truck and he gets sick and let's say he gets sick and ends up having, COVID, let's say. That truck's gonna require sanitizing, before we could allow somebody else into it, so that's gonna take that truck offline, in the meantime. Or you're running the risk of him cross-contaminating without sanitizing it, and then the next guy getting in, he didn't know he had, let's say, COVID, he's sneezing and coughing because one hand's here and one hand's here, he can't cover his mouth properly. Even if he wore a mask, let's say, still gonna get stuff in the vehicle. Then you're having the next guy come in, and if it's not thoroughly sanitized, allegedly, you could be exposing them to.
Okay, so again, if he says he's okay and he writes it up,
How long does it take to sanitize?
Well, I would think that, my opinion is if we have somebody that is sick and is COVID positive, you would want a professional, they would come in and professionally sanitize it, I would think, but
You're
then.
not gonna know that until after the fact.
Exactly,
After the
Which
fact.
is
which is
why
the reason for.
you don't have multiple people going into a truck.
Exactly.
All right, so to summarize, and not going through each one of these instances, because you could make an argument for or against each. If our legal counsel provides us, based upon what the Ohio Attorney General, whatever it was, whatever they said, based upon this, I
So
think
basically,
that,
what I would say is, what I would need is just a list of any of the ones that we have a question about. We know for sure that they're, you know, like wipes and ventilators and stuff. I was just reading about some of those things. But like, I think trucks, especially, you know, a pickup truck versus a snowplow truck versus dump truck.
Versus an ambulance.
Yeah, versus an
well, I think an ambulance is on the list also, right?
Yeah, I did put one on the list, I know I did some checking, Concord, Eastlake, Willoughby, Kirtland, Wickliffe, and Willoughby Hills have all bought one.
I can tell you this much, my buddy is a general manager at a Ford dealership, and he just called me yesterday because we were talking about this and talking about how the new money was coming out. And I was just talking to him, and he called me, he goes, I gotta tell you how funny it is. He goes, we've had these cop cars sitting on our lot for literally a year. And he goes, and all of a sudden, after you told me about the new allocation, he goes, I got calls from every police department in Northeast Ohio. We sold the 5 cop cars we had on our lot in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And he goes, all they're doing is installing rubber mats in the back of them for easy cleaning. And when they're doing their conversions, they're installing rubber mats in them for their conversions to make them able to use it.
Okay, so I can understand that, but how would you justify a new squad?
They're justifying them as COVID transport ambulances. They're dedicating them to known COVID patients. When you get that call as a COVID positive resident, then we transport that ambulance is the one that goes to.
So there'd be one for the entire township, and if it happens to be over in my neighborhood.
Well, these guys would say it was in your neighborhood and the squad was sitting here, which actually it'd probably go to 2, but it doesn't matter. If it was sitting here, those guys would still go and take care of you while that squad was coming. They'd load you in that squad for the transport. If it was load and go and you had to go immediately, they would do that.
All right, but then go ahead, if I could real quick. If that would allow then, if let's say somebody does have COVID symptoms, you could then park that ambulance, pull the other one into
Sure.
service while that one is sanitized or whatever.
That's true too. And that takes a little over an hour. You got to run the sanitizing machine for 45 minutes and then let it dry for 30 minutes.
So the one concern I have with these things, not on this one, but with vehicles, is I read somewhere through this documentation talking about leasing of vehicles, and the reference was to get you through the COVID time, and we're talking about purchasing.
Can't lease an ambulance though.
You can't lease an ambulance, but like with the trucks that we bought for the road department. So those could have been leased, I assume.
How long is the COVID thing gonna
I
last?
don't know. So these are all questions that I've got. I don't know.
Yeah, I think,
Good point, but then, then the counterpoint is, well, how long is it gonna last? How long do you need it?
yeah, I mean, some standards will be dealing with this until 2020 and 2030, but other, this could be another next year.
It's done November 4th.
I agree, but I'm just saying, we never know what's gonna happen, so I think leasing, while it's maybe you can open-end lease, but you can't do that with vehicles, it's essentially.
Well, here's the problem, you can only pay for it through
Yeah, that's the
December.
other problem, Chuck, you can only incur the cost through December, so you have to pay for it up front. So leasing would work anyway, based on the.
But on the list you proposed, that was proposed by Department, a lot of good information, a lot of good things, and as I was reading through this other stuff, it's kind of funny, last meeting we spoke about a new system in here for the microphone and all that, and that was even listed on there.
That will be installed. No, that's actually a question I have for you. That will be installed by the next meeting. I want to know if the one that's on here is, do we want to do this in the conference room?
Same thing, I mean, if the money's there, yeah.
That would be the
because we
same,
hold
right.
meetings in there.
Yeah.
So yes,
Okay.
please, thank you.
So if I could, I think that we would like at least to explore the idea, especially stations 1 and 2, because those sleeping quarters, man, they're right on top of each other, and there's no. Do we want to look at maybe adding on to the back of the building, or the back of the building it's not being used, right? It's just a junk room.
Oh, no, that's a training room now. They've completely.
Okay,
remodeled that.
so then we have a room. If you extend that building out off of that training room to add another bunkhouse back there, right?
There's one room for storage. I think the server's in there and that's about it. That we could actually make another bedroom back there.
So do we look at getting that done while we can? So if somebody, let's say they go on a call, and the guys, you have three, because if you go on a call, do all three ride in the ambulance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm sorry, they separate now. They take the chase vehicle with one, two riding in.
Right, so then then in that instance, would be nice to have the, another bunk room, so that way the guys that were in the ambulance with the exposed patients, let's just say, could sleep in the back while the other, that kind of thing too,
Yeah.
so.
I just wonder if there's enough money, even with what they're talking about, to do another footprint, with the,
Just redo what's there.
So maybe it.
to add on to the building.
Yeah,
Here where there's an extra
that's what I
room.
said.
Yeah, I don't know I don't think it would be really costly, but I might be wrong. Check into it.
Well, so here, if there's an extra room, can you renovate and convert it
Right, that's right. Here we probably can, yeah.
over
I
it?
mean, you're probably looking at $150 a square foot for addition,
Okay,
so
No.
if you got, a couple hundred square feet
yeah.
for a bedroom, off the back, a nice bunk with maybe divider, some sort of divider walls, that kind of thing. Some partitions between the beds,
So I mean,
we gotta get
we gotta
moving,
move quick.
Yeah.
because this has to be encumbered by the
One thing
November
about
20th.
Chief, he's good about moving quick on this stuff. I've seen you in action.
Well, when you
Give
people
yourself
spend
a
money,
really
they
nice full barn.
get, when you get to spend money on new stuff,
Yeah, right.
people tend to move quicker.
Because, even over, I'm more familiar with Station 2, I mean, it's all, there's one bedroom,
There's one room, there's two bedrooms, one separated for the officer.
Yeah,
And
and
then
then-
one for the guys.
so it'd be nice if there'd be a total of 3, or,
Yeah.
if the
Yeah,
one.
If you
next-
separate the two guys so they're
Yeah,
not.
create another
Yeah,
bedroom, that's what
If
I'm
you ever
getting at.
hire a woman, you need it anyhow, so good.
Yeah,
I mean, you should have another one.
yeah, generally, if the plan for that is we had a woman working, she'd be sleeping in the officer's quarters.
And the officer would sleep
Yeah.
again.
All right, but it'd be better if they just deal with it in case you have two in the same shift, you're covered.
Or if
Whatever. It just covers all the bases going forward. It's a good opportunity.
there's an opportunity to reconfigure something, because there's only one shower, is that correct?
Yes, there's one shower.
That's what, so
You know,
bunkhouse with a shower in the root bedroom, maybe, yeah.
Can you add the separate shower for, at least one more? I mean, we
So
don't
the
need
next
to go
question is, do we have to
overboard.
bid this out? What's the procedure here with,
That's, yeah,
Mr. Legal?
I think
it's anything over 25,000, right? We have to bid out?
I thought it was 50.
you're
50
gonna be
right?
over 50.
You're gonna be over 50, right? I was thinking 100, 150 per.
Yeah, you're gonna have to bid it out.
All right, so we need to get, and we have to put out for we have to advertise for bid, is that?
Probably. And I don't know if the county engineer would help us,
Concord puts the new levy on the, look what Township did. What-
that or not, or
The building?
we have to put it out for bid. So we have to prepare, even if it's some sort of document, even if it was bare bones of, we want you to bid this building renovation, or whatever it is, we have to have something prepared.
So if you
to
just say we're looking
advertise.
for bids to building
Renovation.
renovations
In addition.
and/or additions per specs, can that be, boom, that's it, and then we can then get them to come in and we get, I guess the first point then, would it be advantageous to hire an architect, right?
I don't think you have the time.
You don't have the time,
Problem.
okay.
I don't think you have the time to.
We just gotta get, we
I don't
gotta,
know.
yeah. Well, we gotta decide, do we wanna get somebody to come in and devise a plan and then we bid the plan out, or do we wanna just put it out there and,
Well, if you get the right builder, because I was looking at doing something with my house, if you get the right builder, they have architects on hand, and so they will design it and build it.
correct, but we have to bid it out, right? So if we have an architect that helps us develop a plan, then we have a specific plan, we just boom, bid it out, and that's who we go with. Or we're gonna bid out people, and then we're going to,
This is crazy. How do you bid this out in this short of a time?
And let me complicate that. How does that relate to the purchases we have come up with? Can we go ahead with these, or are we waiting on these?
Well, so,
I think we go with these, and he just writes a,
so let's get
Okay,
through
I'm
these.
just
yeah, let's get to these.
And where they, well, so I guess the other question is, are we getting another 600,000?
We almost assuredly are. The House has passed the bill, we're waiting for the Senate.
So some of these expenses, these expenses, we don't want to go with until,
Until the money's approved.
yes.
That will probably be at the end of this month. Well, it should be during this month.
Yeah, 'cause they're back,
Are they back
now?
now? It's kind of hard to tell when they're actually working.
But I think they are. Well, now the problem is what's his name, whatever, just tested positive, so now they went on well, I don't think they went on leave, but they're doing some sort of quarantine or something with the Senate, so I think they're working remotely.
Well, they pretty much have, I think they have to disperse the money by the end of September.
Right.
They're
not
not
gonna-
gonna sit on it any longer.
Listen, the whole reason that we're doing I think a big deal of what we're doing with all these emergency declarations and all these mandates, et cetera, is because it qualifies us to get these millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, right? I think it would be wasteful. They know that, to be having all these stringent mandates on us and an emergency declaration and then not take advantage of the money that comes along with it, right?
I cannot believe that money's not coming.
Right.
So, and in addition to the 606,000 would be 57,000 more from workers' comp, which has no strings attached to it. It is not, we don't have the same requirements that we do with the CARES Act funds. Just let you know, that money will be coming. Well, they'll decide on September 25th. But when they announce things the way they do, they're gonna do it.
So
Yeah, this has got a lot of attention for them to just sit on it and not vote on it or approve it, you know?
the air filtration systems, what are they, what's the HVAC company proposing, you know?
It's called an iWave. If I didn't include it, I could bring it up here. It's called the iWave.
Like an ionizer, right?
Yeah, it's a device that's inserted into the furnace and it filters the air going through.
Yeah, I think it does, like we discussed last time, the air comes in, it ionizes it and disinfects it before it sends it back out into the world.
And Des, a quick by the way, sorry to interrupt. If we're done with that spreadsheet, if you hit stop sharing, we're still viewing just a blank black screen on the stream. So if we're done with that. Oh, okay.
We're not, I'm
Okay,
going back to
thanks.
that.
I apologize for interrupting. Please continue.
This is the flyer they had handy to send to me about the device they would install in it. It's $758 a piece, but if we install 9 of them that's on the list for each building, it'd be $650 a piece.
And is it like a light or?
No, it's a
Yeah,
device that goes inside the furnace and it filters the air.
correct. I think it's a light though, isn't it, in the furnace?
I have no
that
idea.
I believe, I don't know this exact system, but the other ones that I'm aware of, Josh, it is some sort of light that the air passes through.
Light in my furnace at home.
Yeah, so it's a light, it's a light that it passes through, and kills it. But this could be an ionizer system where it goes through and has like it goes almost to a secondary thing and cleans it through that in whatever system they're using.
I just want to make sure it's not like.
What is that? It says right there, using,
It's
so
not
it might be
filter.
an electrical,
What's it called again, Mike?
The brand name is iWave.
so when I was at the car dealership, we had cars that came in that were really bad inside. We used to use this ionizer type of thing. You hooked it up, you sealed the car, it went in the window, and it sucked the air out, and it went through this box and essentially cleaned the air.
Smell?
Yeah, and then
Used car dealerships have to do that in Michigan now because they're getting used cars returned that smell like marijuana.
yeah, so that same thing. It had one coming in one window, and then it had one pushing the air back in, and it would circulate that air for whatever hours to clean out the air and disinfect it. So I'm assuming this is the same type of thing. And I sent a thing for proposal for a lighting system you put in when the room's empty and you turn it on. Did they call you? I put your name and an email down. No?
No.
Okay. For like a room like this, it's just a light that would go up. I don't know how, it's like on a stand or something, and it's kind of like almost spins.
No?
Put it in the room afterwards, and it runs for like an hour or two, and allegedly disinfects the surface.
So it does not look like there's like filters to change or anything like that. And I just want to make sure
Oh, and
they
it's
weren't
very
selling
cost,
something that was gonna be, every 6 months, you need this $500 filter to change.
Right.
Anything like that, so. Looking from what I can find online here, it looks like.
So a question asked, is there any ongoing cost, any replacement of filters, bulbs, those type of things? And if so, then maybe
Buy a contract up front.
buy a contract up front, or if there's, they say, oh yeah, you know, there might be the need to replace these bulbs. Maybe you buy one extra bulb per system or whatever it may be, in case it goes down.
Okay, I'll find out.
Question on the touchless doors, it says after NOPEC installed doors. What does that mean, after NOPEC installed doors?
Okay, because the doors are being installed as part of our NOPEC grant, our energy improvement grant. What we want to do is make them touchless doors, so we need to install the doors first, as part of the grant, then use the CARES funds to convert them into touchless doors. And I've talked to Kent Marks about this, he's gonna do, we can do that, but you gotta keep the funds separate.
What doors?
Like the back doors?
Well, for the touchless doors, I was thinking the front
Yeah.
here, the back, if you want, that's up to you.
So how do you activate them?
So like a handicap
You
thing?
can wave, you can press a button, you can have a key card that you swipe, and there's a number of ways that you activate.
I think you would make a motion, right?
Or motion
Well,
activate.
you wouldn't do that.
Are we swinging, or are we making these swing, or are these gonna be sliding up here?
I don't know. We haven't got that far. We
I don't
asked
think
for a
so.
ballpark so we could talk about it.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that makes sense.
Swinging sounds like it's more reliable than sliding.
So,
Same thing, it's moving parts, that, you know.
Yeah, I think you're pretty close.
There's a lot more, I don't know.
I think you're more effort, like, well, because I've seen those things that, you know, like the arm, you know, like, instead of just the sliding.
Okay, well, that's a detail.
Yeah,
more moving parts than sliding.
Yeah.
oh. All right.
So that's a detail we could work out if you're okay with the
Yeah,
purchase.
I think
Can you go back to the spreadsheet, Mike?
Oh, I have to put my glasses on. Okay, Sean, can you see the spreadsheet again?
I sure can. Looks good.
Thank you. There we go.
So, I mean, do we need to decide on, can we decide on these now so that when the money becomes available, we can
I
jump?
would really appreciate that because this is a good list and we need a little time to prep and get some
Yeah, and then I can-
documentation from
I can
Jeremy.
nix anything that,
So
you gotta
question,
approve it now, I can nix it if it's.
Okay.
so question, the 465, don't we still have money available from the last one?
The 465 includes the money that the 73,000 that's available from the last time.
No, I understand that, but it doesn't say,
No,
Taking out the workman's comp number, right? Don't,
the workman's comp is not part of it.
what I'm looking for, Mike, is we're getting 606 from the next one. We have X amount left from this one, so our total funding is X minus the 463. What's our total, you know? So I can see what, I'd like to see what we have available already without that extra money.
I think, I can test it right now. Oh,
Should show on
Yeah,
the bottom
we
right,
gotta-
some, 465.
what?
So if you just highlight those same blocks you had before, and then you look in the lower right-hand corner, okay, stop there, okay, now look in the lower right-hand corner, it says sum 465, 637. So that's the same.
Okay, so I'm sorry, the 465 is what we have, is spending on this list.
That's correct, I know.
Correct. So to get the right number, which
What I'd like to see is how much is left from the last, so we know,
we have $73,000 left from the previous CARES Act funds.
and it doesn't include the workers' comp refund.
Correct. It does not.
So what about, like you got written there, Grand River Fire Station, whatever he's done on this one, could you do there, or some?
No. The reason I put that there was in a phone conversation you and I were having, it threw out the thought, well, what if we bought something for the Grand River Fire Station? I put it on there because I like the idea so much, but I have not talked to them. This is a trustee's decision. Do you want to sub-grant money we have left over and buy supplies for the Grand River
What
Fire
do they get
Station?
already?
It's just out there.
What's that?
What are they getting already?
14,000.
They're getting,
They're getting 14,000 out of this.
They're not getting squat.
Yeah, they're getting 14,000
Yeah,
out of it.
but I know.
Pardon me?
They have gotten some, I know that.
Okay, the answer to Chuck's question, out of this round of, the third round of the CARES Act fund, where we're getting 600,000, Grand River's getting 14.
Okay.
It's on the spreadsheet that the OTA sent us.
So, that being said, the majority of the residents over there are township residents, and we partly man that fire station, so you bought a lot of stuff for our fire stations. I would think it'd be very justifiable to purchase some stuff for that fire station, even though it's theirs by name, it's really ours. I mean, technically,
Population.
population-wise,
That's the question I had. That spreadsheet you set for money-wise, population-wise, Mike?
And I'm giving you your number.
So anyhow, that was the thinking there.
So there's 140,000,
PC's running and paying up.
there's 140,000 left out of 600.
Okay,
So 140,000 plus 73,000.
so 220.
That's what we have cash if we spent everything.
I wasn't looking at this when we thought about, I don't think 220 will be enough to, do what we want over here.
Well, they cut something out.
Well, then you have to cut a rescue squad out.
Yeah, this would cover an awful lot of needs here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but those guys really do need the frickin' space over there, and they've been getting by. I know they've remodeled it. We've been talking about that since long before.
Well, so we have 220, can we look at something to do renovation to keep us, 50 to 60 per station with some sort of renovation and upgrade versus a whole addition,
200,000 would cover 2 stations for renovation, wouldn't it? Well, the answer is I don't know.
Depends on, yeah, that's
We
what I
can
said,
look
if we're not changing the footprint of the station, we could do something, but adding on would be pretty costly, I think. I don't
Well, I think adding on is gonna run you about 150 per square foot, so
know.
if
Yeah,
you go 1,000 square feet, you're $150,000 per,
okay.
roughly. I mean, that's about the average, I think,
You're walking,
so. So if you, 1,000 square feet is a pretty big space, so
Yeah,
even if you
yeah.
go if you go 800 or 750, now you're 100,000 per station, that's 200,000.
So roughly, we can go 100,000.
I would look at 100,000, see what we can do with 100,000 per station, and really,
Yeah,
realistically,
A dorm and shower.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. But we gotta act quick,
Yeah.
we gotta put out the
Get right
bid,
on
we
it.
gotta get going,
Yeah, so I don't know if you can, if there's an architect, somebody you know, or,
I don't know anybody, I figured it out, but Ken Marks, right?
Cat Marks has pretty much done everything when we've asked him to design. I don't know if he's qualified to design a addition. Well, he is, they're building houses.
yeah.
Actually,
Yeah,
they're,
if you
Cat
build
Marks
a
is building
house, you
houses
could build
too,
it.
so.
Yeah, so we could pay, but he's gotta act quick, we need somebody that, my only concern is a guy like him is a small operation. Smaller, does he have the time to sit down and really hash out?
Sure he does.
Okay,
Well, but here's,
quick,
For business, yeah.
okay.
He's
But he's not, yeah.
semi-retired, his kids are running the business, he's right there.
so, but a lot of times, the person you have put together the proposal and the bid package usually can't bid on the job,
Oh, really?
because they have an unfair advantage, because they put together.
Okay, didn't know that.
So, so that's something to consider too.
It is, because Kent is one of the few that I know that if we wrote him the check by December 30th, he billed it in February, I'd be okay. 'cause I
Yeah.
trust
Well,
him.
the other thing is, while Kent does good work, I question when you go out to bid and you start getting cheaper bids. I know that he's sometimes a little bit more money because of craftsmanship, et cetera, but when you bidding out,
You have to bid.
if you have to bid it, he might not even fall into, so maybe he would take the
Start
money.
making some phone calls, I guess. He would
Take the money to architecturally come up with some plans for us, whether that's, $5,000, whatever, I don't know what that costs, right? To pay the guy to develop our plans quickly, and then we put those out for bid,
qualify, right? And he's not even like a full set of plans, it's more of an outline
Yeah,
of.
and outline what we want and those type of things.
Okay, well, let's work on it.
So if we needed.
Does it easier to bump out this space over here and break the big part of the building this way? Because you don't really use this door over here, do you, the back door much? The
No.
second one?
No.
So,
Garage doors.
well, I'm asking that garage door, does this garage door get used? What goes back here? Nothing, right? The first garage door in the back,
In
Chase
the
vehicle.
back, yeah, it's just a weight room.
and then, no, the one closest to the house.
Oh, there's a chase vehicle in that one, so, yeah. But there's one here, yeah.
So roof lines too, who knows?
Yeah, right, okay.
Okay, so we're going to look into the costs of remodeling Station 1 and 2 and adding on to Station 2.
One or the other, either reconfiguring with an addition or a complete,
Right,
just
to
add on a
the-
box to the back that encompasses everything,
Can we still do these?
Question on the Station 2 anyways, I know at one time, they were talking about adding a small addition onto the far side of the bay, directly like toward the park. Is that still, would that interfere with anything there?
No, because especially if we could have, in the process of that, have a bathroom attached to the back of it while they're building it out.
So I was thinking that, so So what if we only did one project and did something over there at Station 2, build another piece on the outside of the garage bay?
Here we do actually have a room that we can convert to a bedroom.
Right, so you might be able to do it cheap here and add on over there.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, all right. I think it's good.
And like I said, then, yeah, have
Some accessible bathrooms from the outside in case the guys need to, access a bathroom without going to a
And
contaminated
there is a
area.
separate bathroom in the back here with a separate shower.
So there are 2 showers here.
Yeah, there are 2 showers here.
Okay, good. So some cleanup and renovation here versus a complete add-on over there.
Right.
Okay.
So, we want to go through the list. Under the service department stuff, I think the chairs are a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I think the truck is a good case for.
The last thing we need is a truck down because the guy was sick and then we couldn't use the truck and then until it got clean and nobody could clean it because they're out plowing a snowstorm,
So it looks like you found 2 options, although if we don't have the money yet, I don't know if we can have any options held for us, probably not.
If the trustees can make the decisions, we'll handle the details.
So it looks like you found there's 2 different trucks available.
So the answer on all of them is yes. You make the decisions, he provides the legal justification, and we're good.
Good.
Right?
Good.
Easy.
Yes.
There we go. Move on.
Wait,
One second.
Well, there's two trucks.
no, I don't care. It's
Chuck
talking
says,
$2 grand
Chuck
difference.
says get 2 trucks, Bill.
Pardon?
No, he's saying more. Saying more, not boho. So I couldn't, it's $2 grand, whatever.
The only question is, white or orange?
Whatever's available.
So, or Kenworth, that
Orange.
he likes, or Western Star that I don't know anything about.
What we have now is we're switching over from internationals to Kenworth. The Kenworth that's available, I went and looked at it yesterday, it's a 2021, but it's white. The orange ones that are available are Western Stars.
What do you like?
I like Kenworth.
Then get it. You
Okay.
can always paint it later if you want to.
You know,
okay.
it's only a truck body, you'd probably go get it wrapped with an orange wrap. And you don't have to paint it.
So if it's available, get the white one. Get the
Okay.
Kenworth,
Yeah.
Right.
okay?
And we can wrap, we get somebody to wrap it with vinyl and that way you don't have to paint it.
So,
That's, won't be in much.
And that rescue squad, just so you know, that was a demo, gone already. So we're looking at 190.
so Township Hall, so yeah, conference tables, chairs, small chairs, camera. The touchless doors, is that something we want to put on the back burner until we find out the cost of fire station stuff?
Yeah, because we can pull the trigger on that later.
So, yeah, so
Table
touchless,
that,
so touchless doors go to the back burner?
Got it?
because we're getting new doors by NOPEC anyways.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the other thing on there was hazard pay, and what I was looking at was $1 an hour going back to March 1st. And that amount is from March 1st through December 31st.
So my thought is, again, that goes on the back burner until.
Okay,
we figure
that's
out
fine.
Fire stations,
I just wanted to bring that up,
Yeah.
that that was in there.
because right there, I mean, between the hazard pay and touchless doors is $100,000.
All right, so that's on the back burner. We can pull the trigger later.
Yep. Next question. On the sheet you sent us that showed the allocation of funds for every political subdivision, it showed population on how that formula was based. Shows population of Painesville Township is over 16,000 roughly, something else, but we're around 20,000. So I just, what?
The definition also says only in the unincorporated area, so we can't include Fairport or Grand River in our population. We're at 16,800 some at the last census, just in the township.
Okay.
We're at 20,000 if you include Grand River and Fairport. And it's in that description I gave you that you can't.
It says here the population of 20,399 at the 2010 census.
That includes Fairport and Grand River.
Okay.
Been discussed many times with the planning commission and me
Okay.
trying to figure out.
Okay.
The county always says we have 20,000, but in the unincorporated township, we have 18.
How long would it take, Chief, for you to, like mentioned before I stepped out about like you bought stuff for us, the lift on the squats for the preventing the injuries with the guys and the defibrillators, so don't
Yes.
touch. How long would it take to pull a trigger on that sort of stuff? Like if we get near the end of this thing and we decide that we want to do something for Grand River, can you have a list ready to go of things to purchase?
Yep, and I'll check with Chief Shook and see what kind of things that they need over there.
Okay.
I believe that they did get a grant for Lucas, their monitors are good. But I will check and see what other kind of stuff.
And it seems like because they're either a poorer or smaller community, they're able to get more grants and more stuff, right?
Well, they have no money, so, yeah.
I mean, you look, when we were having turnout gear issues, they were fine. I mean, that's the thing, somehow they're getting through.
But so do the homework, find out,
Sure.
and then we'll go from there, be ready to pull the trigger along with these others, yes or no on all of them, so.
Right.
Okay. All right, are we ready to move on, gentlemen?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right,
Hit
Michael?
stop sharing, Mike, before you.
I'm sorry, how do I stop? Stop sharing? Like clicking the button?
There you go.
All right. Okay, next on, all right, next topic, regional detention pond. Chuck?
So that meeting was good. Josh and I both attended, along with, of course, you and Billy. And I think I saw an email that Josh sent to you. So why don't we look at that and discuss? I think that's like Josh sent you an email following that meeting the next day, I think.
Actually, if you can open up I think you put a copy of a letter I put in there in the meeting folder. I sent you an attachment, a letter.
Yeah.
That, right?
Whatever you sent to
So, yeah, so
spell it out.
had a good meeting. Everything had been sitting for the past, who knows how long, just waiting.
You remember which one it is, Josh?
Draft stormwater letter, Fairway Pines.
In the Pines.
Oh, the letter, I'm sorry.
So it has been sitting and sitting, nothing's taken place, so it's a good thing we pushed on it. It sounds like it is moving again. They had some ideas, they didn't have anything to move forward with immediately on. They wanted to do some more analysis and then go to get permits. To speed things up and not be delayed for months, I thought it might be beneficial to send a letter to either the county stormwater or county engineer and ask them, the township talked about it and taking this approach would be advantageous.
I read his letter and I'm in support of moving forward as presented. Good?
Can we send a letter?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice job there, Joshua.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else on the regional detention pond?
No.
Stay on top of it.
Yeah, so I mean, basically though, they were waiting for us. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. We've been saying go, 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 go.
Yes,
So-
we have. I think EnviroScience got their feet stuck in the mud. That's what I think.
And they're blaming us.
Frustrating.
But when I talked to them 2 months ago, I kind of got the impression they were waiting for direction from somebody, which is why I say, yeah, we need a meeting.
It's a good thing you did, because none of us realized
Because
that.
they weren't asking for a meeting.
No. All right, limited home rule. I just put it on the agenda because we discussed it last time and say continue the discussion.
I didn't do any homework on this either.
Yeah, same.
All right. Children at
We're
play
guys when
signs.
you have questions. So.
I'm gonna say continue the next meeting.
Easy chart, pros and cons.
Yeah. I wonder if OTA has something.
Can we get like an easy chart, pros, cons,
Sure.
boom?
I can pare down the.
Yeah, can you do that?
the memo
Make
that
it,
we did.
okay, that'd be great.
You're gonna do that, Jeremy?
Like Microsoft for Dummies.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, we'll just take it down to brass tacks. Yeah, because Jason gets wordy sometimes, but it's good. You got the full background now.
Exactly.
We'll give you more bullet point, user friendly.
I read all that, but yeah, good point.
Clip notes, we just need to clip notes.
All right, what's next?
Children at play signs.
Continue the next meeting.
Continue the next meeting.
Okay.
Complaint from 524, or about 524 Barrington Ridge.
I read the email. Is there any action required past that?
I think, so, did we send a letter yet?
No.
Okay, so I think that, I've stopped and talked to the property owner. I was out and I saw them, and I just stopped and explained the situation, that there was a complaint from somebody in the area about their bushes and the wall, right? I explained to them that they are in the road right of way, however, and they initially brought up, what about a guy across the street? He's got a bed with freaking boulders up almost up against the side of the road. I said, I understand that. I said, at this point, the township, since before any of us came on, the township has always taken the approach, as long as it's not in the line of sight or obstructing the view of traffic, we don't force anybody to remove it. That's not something new, that's something that's been going on for well over a decade. I said, so at this point, we're gonna take that stance that there's not in the right of way. However, you need to know that if it ever has to be removed for any reason, the township is not gonna be held responsible monetarily to replace any of that. And same with your brick wall, and that you must know that you have a utility easement underneath there. If they need to access that easement to do any work, you're also not entitled to any compensation for the removal of your stuff. They said they understand, fine. They advise that they are gonna be trimming the bushes down to create, I don't know, use some term, English garden, something, I don't know. So they're gonna be cutting the tops off of all of them and shaping them down. So they're gonna be, next year, once it gets root, they're going to make some changes to the bushes to thin them down, cut them down so they're actually going to appear smaller. I did advise them that that tree, though, at the corner is in this line of sight, and that they're going to get a letter that they need to have that tree removed to not block out the site. So as long as you guys are good with all that, I think we just need to prepare a letter that stipulates all that in writing and have them take care of that tree on the corner and move from there.
I think we gotta have to do a letter.
What's up?
Yeah, we have to do the letter, like you said.
Yeah.
It says, it's in the right of way, it shouldn't be, and if it ever needs to come out,
Right.
you have no course to come back on us to put it back.
And then we asked to remove and maybe include a picture, so there's no just grayer of that one tree that's in the way. To have them,
Isn't that tree dead?
no, it's blooming, it blooms, but just so there's no question on what exact tree we're talking about. The little weeping one that's in the
It's
way?
been there for years and years and years.
Well, we already told the complainant that we would instruct.
They were fine, they couldn't, they were like, whatever, we'll do whatever, so they were very willing to go along with whatever needs to be done, so. I mean, that is the one thing that is blocks your view. I will admit that it's small, and when it blooms, it's a little bit bigger, but there's no traffic really. But if it's, if that, because quite honestly, that's been our, right, if we're taking the stance, that's always been our stance, that does fall in the view sightline, so that I think that to stay in line with what we're doing and what we've been doing for decades, that tree should be removed.
We get that letter out before the next meeting.
Oh, yeah, we'll go out this week.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The letter to stormwater in the county, can you do that this week too?
Absolutely, yeah. Done with that?
Charles. What we got?
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes.
Okay. The NOPEC grant, I presented my list of projects for this year. If we do them all, it will take us over the grant limit by about $2,600. What I'm asking is, will the township pay the $2,600 to finish out the list? And I suppose I should.
I mean,
get-
considering all of what we're
You
getting,
made a great list, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of good improvements made and things taken care of, so throwing extra money on top of it, I think is well worth it.
Well, over the 3-year life of the NOPEC energy grant, we're getting $150,000. The only money we would be putting into this would be the $2,600.
I think
Yeah.
that's a no-brainer. 2%, a 2%
Not even.
copay, not even, right?
Okay,
Cool.
so are we good with the NOPEC list?
Yeah.
Great, thank you, guys. Halloween, we've had a couple of calls. Are we going to change Halloween? Are we going to restrict Halloween? I know it's early, but since we're getting the calls, we have to tell residents something.
My stance is 10/31, 8, 6 to 8. That's my stance. So, if there's anything outside of that,
I was not copying on the text. So
I did check with Concord. They're proceeding 10/31, 6 to 8, and just advising people to,
wear masks.
no, just
Look at that.
wear masks or face covering.
I will say I had a busy and stressful morning at work yesterday and did enjoy
Banter.
the banter yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you actually had calls at the township?
Pardon me?
Have you actually had calls?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got two,
We got two.
I got two messages, and the one lady requested that we don't do anything, and the other lady just said, we'd like to plan, so what's going on?
October 31st, 6 to 8 p.m.
Okay.
Final answer.
Final answer. Okay, my last agenda item is Painesville Speedway dropped off a request yesterday asking if they could have their
Did we do
noise
a
curtain.
resolution for that? I can't remember.
Pardon me?
Did we do a resolution
Let's
for that?
wait, you were waiting for another meeting.
I don't think we have.
Have we? Okay.
I'm pretty sure we have.
And that's why I couldn't remember, if we
Yeah,
have or
We
haven't.
do.
I don't think I've done it.
We have, yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, we have, okay.
So next meeting.
Yeah, I will actually wait till the meeting before Halloween, just in case.
Yeah. I mean, if the health department comes out with something for some reason,
They're not going to. Go to Walmart with the mask on, you can go trick or treating with no mask. Okay.
yeah, I think we did have.
We just put a bowl on the porch anyway, so it's usually gone by the
Third kid.
The ring camera, you get to watch them, they don't know, and they're just like,
I think they need to change their name to Painesville Township Speedway, and provided that happens, then I don't have an issue.
right. Painesville Township International Speedway.
NASCAR.
It is NASCAR, right?
Painesville Township 500. So the request is, can they stay open? The noise resolution requires that they stop making noise at 11 p.m. They're asking, can they go to midnight this coming Saturday? It's their big event of the year or something.
We did it last year, didn't we? I think
I
we've
think
been
so.
doing it.
Yeah, I think so.
They've been good stewards, they've been good neighbors.
They have. I checked with the sheriff's office yesterday. They've received one noise complaint this summer.
Yeah, I'm good.
I think that my personal opinion is the new owners have taken hold and are really making a legitimate.
So would it be advantageous, you think, just to maybe get the word out to avoid any calls that we granted them a extension for that one time, like on our social media, so people
I'm
know?
okay with that.
Josh, what do you think? So
You're gonna hold it
people,
eventually, you might as well.
Yeah, I
hold
would
it
say,
front.
yeah, I would say social media on Facebook page. I don't think there's any need to do like an email blast,
no.
but social media.
And maybe put a tab on our website, so if somebody visited Painesville Speedways, we grant, whatever, how you have that little drop down with those little things that show up.
We could even do, a thing on Facebook, hey, Painesville Speedway's having their
Annual
annual cavalcade, whatever,
They've been granted an hour, whatever, extension of our noise ordinance.
Sure. Family fun, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. Very good.
Okay, and that brings my agenda to a conclusion.
All right, thank
Whole
you.
hour for you guys.
Holy cow.
Fast.
Perfect. Let's keep right as we're going here.
We passed on the signs.
Fire chief.
Okay, one thing you guys probably saw it on the news, but we had a fatal four-wheeling accident over the weekend. Apparently they were going down the railroad tracks. The Route 20 bridge on the railroad tracks has between the rails, the rails that go across, but the area on either side does not go across the bridge. So they have a fence there, a metal pipe fence, and apparently the four-wheeler hit the metal pipe fence and they were thrown off.
It was 1:30 in the morning.
It was 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it was, I know.
And there was alcohol involved, so, yeah.
And they over the top down, right?
Yeah, they went, and at one point that, they hit the railing and then went over onto the pavement below. Apparently, a driver stopped and saw two people laying in the road, had no idea how they got there, so that's,
Luckily, that
took a while.
four-wheeler didn't come over and land on a car or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
How high is that? Is that like 30, 40 feet?
No, it's 20 feet.
20 feet.
Yeah, it's 20 feet, but I think most of the damage
High.
to physical damage was done when they hit the railing.
Getting
They
smacked
were at
there.
a high rate of speed and they hit that.
We know both of them. Well, I did, one of them.
Um,
I taught it.
One of them's passed away, so.
She's a girl, she was my neighbor,
Oh, yeah?
yeah, lived across the street from us, her ex-husband.
Okay. And the guy was a township resident.
He went to Riverside with us as well.
Yeah, he's a township resident. Haven't got the grand jury stuff yet, but I'm sure there'll be charges for that. Anyways, just so you guys are aware.
Definitely waking up out of that phase.
Yeah. But This new squad was back from paint. It looks good. I put pictures on, but still needs a lot of interior work and all the wiring needs to be done. So it's, a few weeks away, a couple, 2-3 weeks hopefully. Took longer to paint than we thought, but then the guy actually did a really nice job. He did way more to the box than we'd actually anticipated. They scraped that down to all the aluminum was scraped to barrel.
This is a Reeboks, right?
Yeah.
He did a lot of extra work for the same price?
Yes, he did actually. Yeah. And then he put all the striping and stuff. That wasn't in the quote either, but we got the striping material from Fason. And he said, well, if you send me the striping, I'll go ahead and do it. So he did that work for free too. So, I mean, that wasn't in the quote, but I would say for free, it still cost us 10 grand for that, over 9 something. Yeah.
And several months, but.
Yeah, in several months, but yeah, it's done. So.
What did we spend total on that?
So far, it's just over 84,000, but that's the $25,000 load system we're putting in that too. So.
And what's the new one cost?
The new ones, that squad's a large squad, heavy duty squad, about 230, 240.
He sent me an email.
Yeah,
I asked his questions. I could forward it along to you guys.
Yeah.
How much was the amount? 60,000 plus 25?
No, altogether, it's 84,000, just almost 85,000. That's got that load system and the other expensive thing that we did for that is the air ride system that wouldn't normally come in a squad, but if you put it in, it costs us $8 grand, but if you ordered that, I think that's about 15 grand on a new, as an itemized thing if you put it on a new squad. But it does make a big difference to patients, especially patients that are injured in the back of a squad. In a big squad like that, you want it as smooth as possible. So yeah, that is a big, heavy squad. Anyway, so that's moving along. Chest compression devices, everybody got trained on that. We're good with that.
Yeah.
Safer grant, that's what I want to talk about. This year, the Safer grant is not going to have any match. Normally, there's a match where they pay 100% the first year, and it drops down to 75 the third, 50% the next. The new rules on it for this year haven't come out yet, but when it comes out, they're not, because of COVID, they're getting rid of the match from the employer. So in other words, what we'd be responsible for, they would get hired in at the higher rate. They would pay 100% of that rate that day for 3 years. So
Are they hired in at a higher rate?
no, whatever rate we hire by contract.
Oh,
Hired,
hired
hired, right?
Okay,
Hired in.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, whatever rate we hire.
HIRE, not HIGHT.
Yeah,
All right.
HIRE, yeah.
Okay.
So whatever rate we hire them in at is what they would get for the 3 years. So we would be responsible really for the contractual raises. Because we get, 3% a year or 2.5%. Those contractual raises plus the step increases that we have in contract, they wouldn't pay that stuff. They would just pay their higher rate for 3 years. The advantage to that for us is we could put extra people on. We would cut down the amount of part-time people. We would just increase the amount of full-time people. And it's actually timing's good for us to do this now because we have several people, in fact, a lot of people, I would say 4 to 5 people that are, and I go get a good exact number, but at least 4 people in drop right now. And by in drop, that means they're only in drop for a certain number of years. So 8 years is the max in drop, and we have at least 4 people that have at least 4 years in drop. So they're going to be gone in 4 years. In other words, this would be a good time for us to put these people on, save some money, have extra manpower, and then as people leave, we don't have to replace them because we've already replaced them. Just a thought. But I want to put that out early for when that comes out. I'll be writing that, and obviously I think they want letters of support from the trustees and things like that. So, but just some thoughts on the safer grant. Just like I said, I think it would be a good time for us to do it.
So we're responsible for healthcare,
Sure.
those sort of, what about pension costs?
Yeah, we would be
That's us.
responsible for, I will check into the healthcare cost. I believe that the amount you get covers their,
Just their hourly wage?
no, I believe that it actually covers wages, health, pension, and healthcare. Whatever their benefit hours, you have to figure. So,
Okay.
but I'll get back to you on that, but I'm pretty sure that they covered all their expenses for those 3 years.
Okay, so I guess would that also include the signing, well, do we have any other stipends in there? Well, anyway, okay.
No, I don't believe we do now, yeah, nothing, everything's an hourly.
And are we required to, so the idea is to increase staffing, right?
Yeah,
Beyond the 3 years, are we required to have that increased staffing, or?
no,
What I'm hearing
in
is,
fact, I actually talked to somebody in the grant committee, I made a call about that, because at one time, there was a rule, one time that if you hired them, they want you to keep them on for a certain number of years, and, they said, no, they realize that your finances go up and down and things change, and it might not be possible,
so that, yeah, we hire them, we staff up, but then as say we get 2 guys out of this,
right,
as 2 people retire, we don't necessarily have to replace.
right, that's the concept, yeah. I mean, we would, through attrition, those spots would disappear. But they initially would just be added on early. We'd get some benefit out of that by having, either extra staffing or less, part-time hours, whichever. And then, through attrition, just that would go away. So again, it's just something to think about.
I'm open to the idea. I'd like to know what the total cost would be. Josh asked about healthcare. I'd like to know all that. I know you said you believe it is, but I didn't hear it was.
Sure.
I'd like to hear all the costs that would impact us, put on a spreadsheet and leveled out. I will say also, though, that I'm very, I'm reluctant on it in the regard that this was done, back in the 90s, something similar, when they did 100,000 new cops. And then, the federal government paid for it for 3 years or something, and then the money went away. And then the communities, because the economy took a turn, no longer had the money to fund them. And then there was a real struggle between the union and the city. And the same thing could happen here. I know in the past that we haven't always replaced people, so I would be more comfortable with that. But going into this, my thought would be, if we were to accept it, it would be to replace the gentlemen who are on the drop. Understand there'd be 1 year, we would have to suck it up, but that doesn't mean they're gonna be replaced.
Right.
So that's where my mind is at. I wanna be fair, I wanna look at the longer term, need more information on numbers, and then I'm open to the idea, but I have some reluctance in addressing that with the union.
Is that a discussion we can have with the union, labor relations? Are those still meetings taking place?
We haven't had one since all this broke out.
I mean, just to, I agree, if we move forward with it, make it clear that here's the intent, that.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it shoved in my face if I happen to be here 4 years from now, that we're not replacing 4 guys who are on drop. Well, it's because we gave you 3 guys 3 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
That understanding has to take place. And so with that labor relation meeting that you do, which is great, those kind of be a good opportunity for those discussions to take place.
Sure. Okay.
And maybe it's now that it's brought up, maybe that things have calmed down a ton. Maybe now's a good time to have one, since we haven't had one since,
Yeah, we'll do that.
It's good for everybody.
Yeah,
It sounds like it'd be good for everybody.
yeah, we haven't done one since all this.
Yeah, we haven't, and yeah, you're right, it'd be good.
I have a quick question. We don't have naming standards in the county, right?
We do not.
We just have a minimum by policy, or not at all?
We're not at all.
No policy,
No policy on it.
even better.
Yeah, so we have no, other than the union name being had, that we're not replacing positions, we have no legal
Yeah,
obligation.
there's no contractual obligation.
How,
It's just, you gotta prevent that from becoming a negotiating
Yeah, of
point
course.
up front.
Good.
Okay.
community, I mean, would you, if we were to apply for this, I mean, our communities, would they get 1 person, 2?
Well, I was thinking, again, that 3, and basically like 1 per shift is what I was thinking.
Okay.
And
Is that something that's reasonable, do you think? Or, I don't know, from past years? I mean, how many?
from the Safer grant,
Yeah.
I don't, You just have to justify how many you need and why you can't afford them. So
Oh, okay.
why you can't afford to go that many more. As far as numbers, it's really,
Oh, okay.
you know, I think for a community our size, 3 would be reasonable.
And who's the level of government the SAFER Act comes from?
Federal,
Is that the same one for the police too, right?
same one. Yeah, it says police and fire safety. Yeah. It's the same one.
Now, are we allowed to apply for the police grant on our end to fund?
You know, I don't know why you couldn't. I mean, for a community, because you do pay for police protection.
That's what I'm getting at. Can you investigate that?
What am I investigating?
If we are able to do that to fund police, an extra policeman for 3 years,
Safe grant.
safe grant.
Then are we then on the hook there to keep?
Well, we
that?
would make it very clear to the sheriff that,
Well, as long as it was clear.
Yeah,
So it would be to hire a sheriff deputy?
yeah, because
through SAFER.
you're safer.
Then you could get CARES funding to buy a vehicle.
Yeah.
Then we just remodeled the training room in the back of station 1. They just, we're done with it now, but they, you know, that was a junk storage area. Now they got rid of all the junk, they cleaned everything up, they put new flooring, they repainted everything.
It does look nice back there.
It does, looks really nice. So if you get a chance to stop there and look at it. Yep. And that's all I have.
So those costs that they used to do that were to create more space for social distancing.
Yes. Yeah, so that, I mean, really, the one thing that, I know they put vinyl flooring and things like that in there too, so.
That's what I'm getting at, right?
Right.
Easier to clean, those type of
Right.
things. So that makes sense.
You want to run that through the grant?
Yeah, because that seems like a cost that would.
Yeah, I can check on, I can get those receipts from Karen. I mean, that wasn't huge expenses anyways, that they kept that pretty low, but I'll definitely give that to you, Mike. Yeah.
Is that it, chief? Is that
That's it, yes, thank you.
All right, William?
Okay, so on maintenance and repairs are tracking, we are down 66% through August from where we were last year. At this time last year, we were at $43,000 and we're at $14,000.
Having the new trucks pay off.
A lot of it is that we took those old trucks off the road.
Yeah.
It might, you know,
Yeah.
might be a little bit that we didn't have that bad of a winter going into springs, but that's a big savings, so I'm happy about that. I would like to extend our summer help another month if we can. I've got one guy that's out with a hand injury and a workman's comp injury, and if I can get Ryan for $12 an hour through October, it will help.
That CARES Act.
What's he doing?
hire.
Is he going to college or?
Can't do it.
It was in our
No,
budget. It was already in our
his
budget.
plan was to enter the CEI lineman school. And then when the COVID hit, they cut the class in half and he didn't make that cut. So he is currently working on getting his Class B CDL while he's with us, and then he might pursue this kind of work with another department. But I'd like to keep him through October, if we can.
Yeah.
And then the plan is for the landscaping here at Town Hall the last week of September. And
Good.
I know a lot of guys are excited about that. 'Cause
Yeah.
They don't like this here.
Yeah, I know it's a pain in the
They're
butt.
looking
It looks
forward
like
to
shit, so.
getting it out of here and replacing it. So.
At that same time, just, do we need a new white touch up on the facade over here while you're out there doing it, or the paint, you know, the wood part above the door, does that need a touch up or no? Just saying, while we're doing those things, take a look, might as well, while I got everything tore out, might be a good time to touch up any of that, freshen up the paint rather while they're there, you know?
Okay. Look at that. And so we did the repair work at Ardway and Kenilworth that widened that intersection a little bit, raised that basin up. Really made a big
great
difference.
job.
Really made a big difference, and you guys did a good job on it.
Did an awesome job. Yeah, really nice. Thank you.
So that's all I have for
Do we
today.
get did we get at the park?
Yes, we were, we had to get some steel ordered, some stainless steel for bracing on that sign, and that was a little bit of a back order, so we're getting close to we're gonna have to set the posts first, then come out and measure things and drill holes, so.
And what about our security cams? Did you get those? Security camera?
The cameras, we are working on that.
Okay.
It looks like it's gonna be about $500 to get a camera, and then because there isn't Wi-Fi down there,
The cell one?
you can get one through a cell phone plan where they will email pictures to you.
For free, right? Up to 100 pictures, right?
Yeah, but it's gonna be motion activated. There's gonna be 1,000 pictures
So
a day, so,
it's $10 a month or something, right? Or
it's more like $17 a month for unlimited.
Oh,
And then what we'll do is, every week, if there is no damage, we'll delete all of those.
Sure,
and
off the
start
cloud, right.
over and, but we need to do that soon. I've got the signs made. I don't wanna put them up until we get the cameras
So,
up.
so it's not like a trail cam?
it's a trail cam, but it works on cell. So it's not a constant stream. It's activated that it'll take bursts of pictures. And then it sends those via cellular to the cloud, and it'll notify you that, hey, there's been
What was the month, I'm sorry, the
it's
month?
like $17 a month.
$17 for unlimited, but I don't know, I mean, I don't wanna limit it to 100 pictures.
No, yeah, right, because then you miss
First 100
something.
things it takes, so nothing's happening.
With somebody, now is it battery powered or hardwired?
Solar.
You can get it to be solar powered or battery powered. I'm gonna recommend solar powered.
Why don't we just get something where those pictures just stay on that thing, and then the old ones, where the old ones get erased?
Because the SIM card that you put in there won't store enough pictures to.
Right. There's a lot of action, it's gonna go off, and then
You know, you'd have to go down
you have
there.
to be there every day,
3 or
on the
4
SIM
times a
card, you
week.
can go down there every day. I mean, this way it's automatic, you don't have to
I
do
mean,
the
unless
storage.
it just kept overwriting that stuff.
Well, then what if it overwrites what you needed from the day before, you didn't know it was
Because
this?
no, if it would last several days,
If,
you would know within a day or two whether or not you had damage.
but I mean, if somebody's there in the park, like we want them to be,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be snapping continual pictures
Right,
of activity, so.
yeah, I mean, for $17 a month, it makes sense to have
Park gets
unlimited
used.
cloud.
I drive by there, the park gets used.
So I'm saying, for $17 to add all the money time we've invested in this thing, I think that's
And
nothing.
it'll have a 100-foot range and it'll come with a box that protects people from
Dan,
smashing it and damaging it. So, you know, we need to step that program up. It's just been,
yeah, sure.
but yeah,
Shame.
we'll get it taken care of.
So-
That's all I have.
So if you had internet there, you could have a webcam. Is that what you're saying?
If we had Wi-Fi, yes,
Yeah,
or
Wi-Fi.
yeah.
And so Wi-Fi, they have those portable Wi-Fi things, but you're probably gonna pay
Ton
the
of
same
money.
amount per month anyways.
Right.
Probably $20 per month. Could that thing be converted to Wi-Fi in the event that?
No, it's just a cellular-based, trail type of cam that takes bursts of photos.
I'm saying, couldn't be
Which was the
converted to a
100
Wi-Fi cam if you.
No, but I mean, what?
It's what the hunters use.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only option, it's the option that they have for, because of a camera on cell that constantly stream would be way too much money, so.
Yeah.
Too much bandwidth. Okay.
Yes, that's all I have.
I was looking at the pictures that, the before and after on what you guys did there. That's what I was just searching for, Kenilworth and Ardoy. So anyhow, really nice job, Bill. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so who's next? Go on to zoning.
Rich?
You're muted.
There I go. Okay, you hear me okay now?
Yep.
Okay, last night, Safe Store presented their site plan review to the zoning commission. Went pretty smoothly. Zoning commission did approve it, and only attached one condition that they were missing a photometric outdoor lighting plan, which they will present when they apply for their zoning permit to commence building. So that went pretty smoothly. The zoning commission did set a public hearing for the proposed text amendment, which will make an indoor climate controlled self-storage facility a permitted by conditional use in a B1 zoning district. The zoning commission is going to continue conversation about the proposed text amendment to allow landscaping, yard maintenance, tree service, general contractors, excavating contractors, paving contractors as permitted uses in the industrial zoning district. And they're going to continue discussions on Harley's proposed compromise for fences in corner lots, which proposes a line of sight safety triangle. And if fencing can be kept outside of that safety triangle, we can permit that on a regular basis instead of forcing people to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals for a variance. So they'll continue conversations on that. They'll continue conversations on the rewrite of the signage section. I did a whole rewrite of that whole section. So the Board of Zoning Appeals last night was scheduled for a special meeting for a conditional use permit and a variance affecting 1650 Mentor Avenue for used car sales. Both applications were withdrawn by the time the special meeting started last evening, so there was really no action needed to be taken by the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Did the BZA show up? Did the members show up for the meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Real quick on Safe Store, is it in their condition that they have to allow, and I don't know the engineering terminology here, to allow that if the second site is developed, to link the parking lots like Aldi did with Sherwin-Williams?
That is part of their plan.
They're required of them to allow it.
Did we require them to allow it?
Yes.
No. They no. Matter of fact, we had some questions on that, but what you need to know is, there is some confidentiality agreements as part of this, but Safe Store was actually approached by the people who are negotiating and just executed a purchase contract with Dave Williams for the property next door. So Safe Store was approached by that party months ago,
Right.
and they were all confident that this was going to be a happening event. So that was part of their plan all along, is to arrange that driveway extension to be able to service both properties.
I understand, but from an, I guess, urban planning standpoint, isn't the new, I don't know what that's called, the terminology is, but isn't that the trend when you have businesses next to each other that I know there's a term for it.
It really is. It's sort of like shared access, on-site access, instead of going on public streets to access different properties.
So my forward thinking is that moving forward with other entities, when they come in and there's multiple lots like this, that we make it part of the conditional use that they have to comply and allow that shared access in order to, I know the whole thing is to keep people off of the street going business to business to reduce traffic. Isn't that what they do now in shopping plazas generally?
So what if I guess flip side, then what if I'm a church, I'm putting a property here, and there's a liquor store going in next door, and I don't want because I'm a church or whatever, I don't want their traffic coming through mine. I don't agree with what they do. I don't know that can we force them to share?
My understanding is in some municipalities, and I might be wrong here, that is part of the development plans that they have, that all the new, when you put a new entity in, it has to allow transfer from one to the other to take off, to help alleviate traffic on the roads going in and out.
Painesville Township.
I know, I'm just saying.
That makes sense.
I'm just saying, I thought that was like a new trend, that was almost required when it became developing.
On the flip side, though, then you end up with what you have down here at Target, where if I'm leaving Target, I'm going up to Home Depot, I'll cut through the parking lots, all the way down past the medical center and out to High Road.
Is that the point?
I don't know that is the point.
Yeah, because it's a private road instead of public.
I don't know that, technically, that's kind of a cut through.
But that's kind of like what they did there, was they, instead of having that traffic on the road, they forced them to connect all those,
Right. That's the idea of it.
keep people off the road, less road traffic.
That's the extreme condition now. Where you got that-
Yeah, I know, right.
I mean, I like the idea
And
of having, yes, you should connect. I don't know if you want to force people to, but
I'm saying maybe not but when they come for conditional use, and we're in a B district, and you have two essentially commercial businesses next to each other, that we say, when we advise the BZA or whatever, that when we issue these conditional uses, that we look at making it part of that they have to allow, if there's another business that, that fits in the B3 district, that they allow that connection. Just something to think moving forward, because this could get hairy, and they could say, we want $200,000 to allow you to connect, and it's really for the benefit of the community, not just that business,
But if a proposed site's gonna get developed, they just kind of build their parking lot like a stub up to the property line.
That's what I was
And
thinking,
there's no requirement for the other business to connect.
Or do we want them to connect?
Who pays for that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that we're going to be able to force the issue, but we already suggest and we can encourage that kind of cross connection, especially in cases where it makes a lot of sense and there would be good cross business usage for both properties, where
Right.
the same clientele could visit both properties or more than even two properties. I just don't know that the township has the power to force, like a municipality can force certain issues.
Well, when we do a conditional use, aren't we allowed to set conditions in those in order to accommodate a business outside of our normal zoning? Isn't that the whole point of the conditional use?
Well, yeah, the point of the conditional use is to recognize the potential a certain business might have as negative impacts on its neighbors, and to set conditions to minimize those negative potential impacts.
I like the strongly encouraging, and obviously it worked at Aldi's and Sherwin-Williams, and apparently something is in the works with Safe Store and this other business. Whether or not there's money being exchanged, we don't know, but obviously there is that discussion, and it looks like it's gonna work there, so. Strongly
encourage when they're asking us for something, maybe we're strongly asking them to do that, to help create that continuity between businesses, and especially if going from one to the other would, be seen as something that could happen often,
Right, and the alleviation of traffic holdups on properties. We also have between 20th Century, Tom Reeby's place down by Harry Buffalo,
Yeah.
and the Goodwill store on the west side of them. There is a cross connection, so people in Reeby's shopping center, their strip center, can directly access the Goodwill property, and vice versa.
especially on a road like Menor Avenue where we have a high frequency of traffic accidents. In order, the less people have to be on the road going in and out of businesses is gonna help us in the long run.
Correct, yes.
And I thought somewhere in our zoning, I was just trying to find it, I could have sworn somewhere in our zoning resolution, and I thought maybe it was in our main corridor design guidelines, Rich,
It
that
is.
we do state that we are encouraging this connection
That's what I thought too. I thought
within
there
our
was-
design guidelines. I wasn't able to find it just now, but I could have sworn I'd seen that in there, that it's a part of
Yeah,
at
we
least
should
the Menor
probably
Avenue
They
corridor.
can
and
put
now
it in there.
Well, that's what Jeremy just said, add it to the resolution, that it's in there, so it's known when people come to us that we have it documented.
Right, because I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, so strongly encouraged.
Yeah, I agree, that's right, because I think, especially if you have two businesses, like especially retail or, whatever, you're going from one to the other.
His ringer is bad to the bone.
I know. That's awesome. Little switch on the side, Rich.
I don't know. Wait a minute, my crazy cell phone's going off here.
Sit on it.
Okay, it's done. Okay, what did I miss?
Nothing.
There's just some good humor on this end of the line.
Oh,
Strongly recommended for cross connections.
pardon?
Strongly recommended for cross connections, because I believe if you look at the parking lot for, what's the one between Dave Williams' property and Compadre, is that Crystal Palace or Plaza? Emerald maybe? I don't know.
Emerald.
If you look across the front of theirs, the driveway actually goes across the front and has a stub where, with no parking spots, where it looks like it was meant to tie into something that would attach across the front there as well. If you look at that parking lot, I believe it goes there and there's like a stub with like a little curve at the edge of the grass. So maybe when Dave Williams comes in, we look at, if they sell that, we look at connecting all of those.
Yeah, there is about that.
So maybe we look at when the time comes and they come to the drawing board, we ask them to also tie in, because that looks like it was meant to.
They want it. They don't connect the composite.
I know, and it's a shit show. All right, but just something to think about when they come in, because now I'm thinking about it, that does end there with that hump, we can connect, all three of those can connect and really.
Rich, can you turn your phone off?
Rich, off the hook, man.
You know,
I'll just stand in the doorway over here.
hold on a minute.
Are you calling it?
Yeah, I'll keep calling Rich. So Sean keep calling his house phone over and over. All right, Eddie's back.
Rich, you've been muted, so you're gonna need to unmute yourself, Rich.
Unmute.
I didn't realize that. Okay. Oh, well then you guys couldn't hear my phones ringing off the hook.
No, we
No,
did.
we did.
Oh, well, how'd you do that? Okay.
Sean muted you.
Okay, I'm pretty sure in our section 39, we have that language where we strongly encourage tie-ins like that. And in the back of Emerald Plaza, if there's going to be a connection between Dave Williams' property and Emerald Plaza, that's going to have to be up close to the roadway.
Yeah, if you look at the picture, we just looked at it. There is a connection that goes across the front. They have a little curve there, but it is a driveway that goes across the front of the building that looks like it was put there with the intention of connecting to that property when the time came.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that was intended to be kind of like a turnaround spot for some of the parking spots. by the, what do they call that? The Kickboxing Academy or whatever is on the end there. The CrossFit place.
But whatever.
But it would make sense. I mean, you know, it would make sense to encourage people to tie in and allow somebody just to travel all of those properties without going on to Route 20.
Okay.
Okay, that's pretty much it, I think.
For now, we can hold off on that conversation.
Do we want to at least, since we have a little bit of time, bring up what we've kind of been discussing?
So I'll start at the beginning and sort of give a brief overview of everything that's taken place so far. Thank you. I was approached by Dwayne Thomas with DT Monte Auto Sales of Euclid, I believe. He initially submitted a zoning use compliance application for automotive service and used car sales. I informed him that we do not permit used car sales unless it is in conjunction with new car sales. He then submitted an application for conditional use permit, as well as a variance, an accompanying thank you, application for variance, because we have specific area requirements for new and used car sales, which are conditionally permitted in our B3 district. Working with Gabe and Rich, I was reaching out to the applicant to try to determine what his new car sales constituted. Requested his new dealership number, his license number that's issued by the state of Ohio, as well as a franchise agreement with a manufacturer to sell new cars. He wasn't able to provide either. It ultimately came out he was a used car dealer. The property owner was under the impression that the variance that was submitted was for used car sales. It got really complicated and convoluted. Ultimately, both applicants withdrew the application, conditional use permit, as well as the variance. The property owner has since expressed his interest in both, or either or, submitting a similar use declaration petition to the trustees, or applying for a use variance for used cars for Dwayne Thomas, DT Monte Auto Sales of Euclid. At this time, there have been several discussions that have been had with Jeremy, Jason, Rich, Gabe, and there's still a lot of, and Dave Radacci as well, and there's still a lot of information to gather. I have some answers at this time. The property owner has also retained legal counsel for this situation. So just sort of anticipating some pushback regarding the way that that's zoned. But when we have more information, we'll give that to you all. At this time, the property owner has not clarified whether he is interested in moving forward with a similar use declaration or moving forward with the use variance. Both, I'm not sure at this time what his intentions are.
So what I wanted to get at real quick is, it's going to change business types, but I think you were involved with this when I first came out, or right, it happened right before I came on, was the adult-oriented businesses, right? Was it found that we couldn't zone them out, so we had to provide them a place to go, right? And that's how we put them into the industrial zone, right? So on that same, interest of that, what I'm thinking is, so we don't have an issue of saying that we don't allow new or used car dealers anymore in the township, that we do the same in a sense that we say, okay, they're allowed, but any more car dealerships, whether it be new or used, any new entities, we want them to go in an industrial area versus our B3, because I think the last thing we want is, our, yeah, I couldn't remember if you were, I knew you were, but
Yeah.
and the last thing and I think we're all probably in agreement with this, as we've, rejected, multiple inquiries already for used car dealerships on Menor Avenue, is that we want to avoid what's happened in Vine Street and East Lake, and now what I hear is happening a lot in Perry and Madison as well, with the buy here, pay here little car lots, right? I mean, if we turn down,
Zoning commission thing, they're the ones that-
well, I'm saying we've initiated though, don't we, request?
Well, they can issue anything they want, but we can ask them.
So my point is, we've turned down a used car dealer for similar use that was gonna put in a multi-million-dollar palace.
Drive time or?
Yeah, drive time, JD Byrider, these guys were gonna invest millions of dollars, and we said no. I think that further down the line would, again, without hearing their proposal, but in my mind, I think that what we have is enough. I don't see a reason for any more, and if we, on our main corridor, we'd like to focus that back to retail and other type of businesses, commercial businesses, that we look at asking the zoning to initiate a change where we put our car dealerships, any new dealerships, new or used, would fall into industrial zoning.
Is there anything zoned currently for a used car lot?
No,
Okay.
no.
Because if we had that, we don't need any more, as long as there's
That's the
a
point.
spot.
That's the point I'm saying.
We have some, but they're just legal non-conforming.
Right.
Yes, yes.
So my point is we have a situation where we don't get into what we got into with the adult-oriented businesses, is you give them a place to go, so it is in our zoning, and it protects the integrity of what we're trying to do with our main corridors, really transitioning those into, retail and commercial type of businesses, that we give them,
Or you find an area that you'd like them at.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, yeah, that's why I say industrial would be the fit, because it's out of our main corridors and it's out of residential areas, so that would be, a place, you look at, I think Mentor, I think that whole Tyler Boulevard is industrial, if I'm not mistaken, and that's where their new dealerships all go in, look at Classic, for instance. Now, some of the other ones have switched, but they used existing buildings, and I think that non-conforming use applied, but, I just think it would be a better fit in those areas versus our main corridor here, and then it would give us somewhere to put them, and then it takes all of this, questioning off of the table for the future. So that's my.
Yeah, and Rich gave a really good rundown of the history. Eric Walter is the counsel for the property owner.
He's the same guy that did
Lester. And Rich gave him a really good rundown of the history of the property, as well as the intention for the Menor Avenue corridor, the way that a densely automotive corridor can affect.
Negatively impact.
Yeah, and I think Mr. Walter understood that.
He also did Watson, didn't he? Wasn't he the guy?
Possibly.
So I just asked you guys what your opinion is, and maybe we have the zoning start initiating that, where we create the industrial as a place that we want our car dealerships to go.
I'm opening the zoning map now to look and see where the industrial.
Because let's look at Denny Cruz's property. That could make a good auto mall back there. You know what I mean? If you put a couple, I'm just saying, car dealerships back there versus some industrial, the noise isn't there, and it's not going to impact your retail corridor.
It's a horrible spot from a business standpoint, but okay. Okay.
So, I think if
Not
someone.
to get a bunch of them.
That's what I'm getting at. If look, or, you stick a bunch in,
All right, yes.
but my point is that
I
it
get
takes.
I get the bigger picture for it.
Right.
If that's, yeah, we can ask the zoning commission to look at, I think, general, look at doing something like this, not
Correct.
specifically, but.
A part of this discussion, I have a meeting with Aberdashi on Thursday to discuss the best possible way to remove these automotive uses from our corridors. The possible negative side of removing them from the B3 and putting them in industrial is we do have some industrially zoned properties on Northridge. where those storage facilities are and things like that, that section from Painesville City up until, I'd say about Fairport Nursery Road is where it cuts off, and then that's all B3. So everything from about Fairport Nursery Road back and maybe a few in.
Towards Painesville?
Towards Painesville.
And quite
So
honestly,
between Painesville and-
I would feel that that part of Route, I don't consider that part of Route 20. I think maybe I'm speaking for us, but would be where you get off of Route 2 to the Port Perry border. That portion where the storage is, the Gibbs and all that stuff, in my mind, that's a perfect place to put the car dealership in an industrial area because they're not impacting retail. You have body shops over there, lawn, so you already have those type of things that, that would be, I would, Gibbs sells the property, puts a new car dealership there, for all of them, that's, for me, that fits. So that's why I think zoning would be, or industrial would work in that type of area,
Okay, just.
So it gives them the main thoroughway access without sticking them in the middle of our retail and restaurant and those type of areas,
Okay.
Light industrial, heavy industrial, or just industrial?
I think what's on Northridge is heavy.
It's heavy. I guess it's something the zoning commission could look at as
That's
one.
what-
Well,
yeah.
I believe everything we permit in everything we permit in I1, we permit in I2, because heavy industrial is more
Right, yeah.
intensive. So if we put it in I1, we could arguably grant it within the I2 district as well. So either.
Or if you just put it.
So you guys good with having them start looking at that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, and they can look at if it goes in I1 or I2.
all right, so can you have them start that?
Okay, and did we want to remove auto service from our commercial districts as well and put
I
them in
think so.
industrial? So like
I think
body
auto
mechanics,
service, we
things
don't
like
want any more, we don't need more repair shops or quick change oils. Yeah, same thing, right?
Yeah.
What's there is there, but I think any more we don't need. Well, we got the muffler, we got the blue place that's starting in front of Mark's. We got the oil change, is that ours, Rich, Harley?
Pardon?
Is the 10-minute oil change in front of Lowe's, is that ours or ours sneaks behind it, right?
No, ours is Bed Bath and Beyond, so even further over.
Okay.
It
But
cuts off
there's the
in
one
that
down here.
building.
Yeah, you got the one next to
Yeah.
Wendy, you got the one across.
There's a Take Five next door to Wendy's, and Monroe are the two auto service facilities.
Yeah.
Now, a quick oil change, that might be okay in a commercial district, but any place that does auto repairs, we might want to get those into the industrial districts.
Well, that's what we just said, right?
Yeah.
So I think, yes, auto repair, new car, and used car sales, all look at having them move on.
Okay, so not oil.
Now,
Make sure we include in that automotive paint, all those type of things.
Okay.
Body shops.
Body
Again, all for discussion of the zoning commission.
Correct. But I think those are all things they should look at, moving that zoning to an industrial, so that we have a place for them to go. So we're not zoning them out, but then we also keep them out of our, what we're trying to do on Mentor Avenue and the other end of 20.
Okay.
Now, let me ask an opinion on this one matter. Can we've already got the zoning commission having discussions on adding like the landscape, yard maintenance, tree service, general contractors, and so forth as permitted uses in the industrial districts. Can we piggyback these changes into that proposed text amendment?
I think so, make it one swoop, makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
okay.
Or think of any other businesses that potentially you may.
Yeah, and if there's anything you think of else that we really, anything else that you think that we would prefer to be in industrial areas versus in our main corridor, if it comes up, have them look at it,
Oh, you mean like certified public accountants?
Yes, CPA, sure. CPA payroll service, yes, those.
Wow. My building right now, I work on a home. We only got 5 more minutes.
I think we're done.
Hear from the sheriff.
Oh, hey, Sheriff, sir.
How you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Okay,
Anything you want to share before the meeting, or are we all good?
all set.
Okay.
Did you want
Are
to
you
ask
guys-
them about that,
Vehicle?
No, no.
or the other sheriff or?
I'll say it. We'll have to
Oh,
investigate
okay.
first.
All right.
Let him investigate first. and then-
Just out of curiosity,
But can he do
with
it?
all this CARES Act money, are you guys getting money for vehicles?
Yes,
So you're able to buy additional vehicles with that? or stuff?
Yes.
Okay, good, good.
I was telling a story, my buddy's a GM at a Ford dealership, and they've had like 5 cop cars sitting on the lot for almost a year, no budge, and then him and I had a conversation about the new money coming out, and he called me yesterday laughing that within a day's time, he had like 5 or 6 police agencies calling to see if he had any available cop cars, and they sold everyone on the lot that's been sitting there for a year, sold them in seconds, you know?
they have to be purchased by the end of the year
Right.
to qualify.
Hey, Mike, on the resolutions we have, the first one,
Real quick, okay, go ahead. You ask him, I was gonna ask.
accepting the amounts as
Yes.
returned by the Budget Commission authorizing, that's just basically taking everything that's already on the books and we're just saying, put them back on the books again?
Yeah, they sent us their estimate of what we're getting, just confirming what our levies are and what they anticipate those dollar amounts are gonna be for next year.
And you reviewed all those numbers and?
Yes. I just looked at this. So
I was
that's,
thinking, Sheriff, his report, if he
These
wanted
are
to be
just-
on camera, he could stand up here and do it.
These are just budgeted estimates, so they're not
So when you
actual.
give your report, if you would come up here, you can take my seat, I'll step aside.
Oh, whatever you want me to do.
That way you could be on camera, if you wanted.
Whatever you want me to do.
We would like you to do that. We want to see your beautiful smiling
You
face.
can even stand, if you look at the camera, between you and Josh, there's that big empty area, you can just kind of stand up there.
You got chairs
There's a
there.
big void up there.
Right.
That's outside of the camera.
No, between you and, the chair, yeah, that's what I was
They
saying.
have the guest chair.
Once we get the new system, we'll have,
Surround sound.
we'll have cameras and we'll have that new table and all.
All right, so we're gonna adjourn this
Go
meeting
offline.
and close this meeting, and then we'll be opening up here shortly for the actual session.
All right.
Sounds
Sounds like I should end the stream, correct?
Yes, so we're ending this meeting, yeah.
All right, see you.